Hello, my name is Ali Sky and welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for being here. My channel is still trying to find its identity. So I have a bunch of old music stuff that I need to move over to my music channel. And I'm still trying to find what works for me in terms of this channel. I wanted to make it like a wellness lifestyle channel, maybe even like a vlog type of thing. So just bear with me while I figure this out. Still working on it, but a lot of my channel is going to be about like healing and growth and transforming and things along that nature, because that's what I love to do. I took a break from this channel for almost 2 years, and so I just started posting again. So I'm so sorry if you followed me before and then I just dropped off the face of the earth, but I do want to try to make this a more consistent thing. I've been really working on my music channel, so please go follow my music channel. It's Ali Sky Music, ALI space Sky space music. And I do a lot of live streams on there. I post, I want to try to post more like videos as well. So I'm working on that. There's a lot that I'm working on with music and that I've been working on. So I really picked up that channel around like September of 2024. And so I've been really working on it and I want to continue to work on it. I'm going to continue to work on that channel, but I do want to put some focus into this channel too. So we'll see if I'm going to be able to do 2 channels and be able to juggle that plus everything else in my life. So we'll see how that goes. But I guess this channel has been mostly me just talking about things and like the learning process and, you know, like healing from trauma and things around that nature. So I'm gonna go ahead and continue with that, and maybe I'll incorporate more fun things because I think that's really important too. One of my goals for 2025 is definitely to have more fun, to feel more relaxed, to feel more at ease while working on things and while continuing to like move through life. So it's all about finding balance, right? So yeah, I definitely I want to keep busy in the sense of, you know, keep working on my career and keep growing in that sense, but also finding balance and not completely overdriving myself, finding the balance between, you know, putting in like hard work and the balance between, okay, well, let's rest and then let's work and rest and work and rest. And it's just an ongoing thing. So I hope you guys are having a good 2025 so far. It's only been a couple of days. So yeah, I did go out for New Year's, and that's not something that I would normally do for the previous years. So that was kind of fun. And on New Year's Day, of course, I got really tired because I didn't get enough sleep. So I just kind of relaxed during the morning time, and then I started getting some stuff done later on in the day. And I worked on my music channel, of course. And today I went to the beach with a friend, and it was really nice because it's on a part of the island that I don't normally go to because I don't normally drive that far because my car's really old. So that was really fun. I got to just have some beach time, absorb some of the grounding sand and, you know, walk on the sand and get in the water a little bit. So that was definitely a lot of fun. In my previous years, I definitely spent a lot of time doing like self-help work and learning from YouTube videos and other resources about like how to heal your trauma, because it's a lot. Like when you went through a lot of trauma as a kid, especially like emotional and psychological, and of course like all different types of trauma, it's so hard as an adult because you have to heal from those things and it can take so long and there's so much to learn. So I learned a lot from people that were, you know, like talking about it on YouTube. Tice Gibson works on talking about attachment styles. Lisa Romano was, you know, like adults of codependent. It's like codependent adults of alcoholic parents or something like that, but your parents don't actually have to be alcoholic for them to have had a similar effect on you. Once I realized that I was carrying around all this trauma from when I was a child as an adult, and I realized how much it was affecting my life as an adult, I decided to stop and just take a break for myself and just basically work and do inner work and just take a break from the community, take a break from people, because I just really needed it. And I just spent more time just like learning self-help, doing relaxation, because I noticed that I was constantly in a state of really high anxiety all the time. So I had to do practices to learn how to come back to myself. I did a Vipassana meditation. I went to go study yoga in India. I did all these different things to try to learn how to heal my body, to heal my spirit, to heal my brain, my mind, because they're all related. So yeah, one of the big things is that, you know, the body and the mind is so interconnected that when you start to relax the body, of course, your mind follows it as well. So there's so many different modalities and different things to do. And I don't know if, I mean, like maybe one is the answer. Maybe if you just stick to one and just keep going with it. But I think it's probably a combination of different things and different theories and different modalities that are going to be helpful to people. And a lot of it's, I think, finding balance as well. I think, if you're like, for example, like just I'll say from experience, if you're just focusing on meditating and relaxing, which is what I really needed at the time, because I think I was just in a heightened state of like my alarm system was just constantly going off. And so if you're meditating all the time, and you're spending so much time doing that, like hours and hours a day, but you're not balancing it with like enough exercise or enough things that are actually like bringing you joy and making you happy. And if you're just like focusing on feeling all these feelings and trying to process everything, it can be too much, too fast, and too much all at once, and it can be possibly a little counterproductive. So it's definitely an experiment. Like life is a huge experiment. And so what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to balance the practices that I've learned prior, like such as meditation, just like the deep relaxation, like the feeling, the sensations, what Vipassana teaches you, Vipassana meditation, if you ever go to one of those 10-day silent retreats, it's basically all about, first on the first day when you're a new student, you tune into your breath. And then they have you follow your sensations down, like from the top of your head, like all your sensations in your body, they have you follow it down, like trace it with your mind, like feeling all the sensations, top of your head, forehead, like all around your face, your nose, your head, your neck, your jaw, like, and you go down and you feel the sensations like going down your arms. And it takes a while. It can take like an hour, just to like, especially if you're new to it, and it could take so long to get from the top all the way down to your feet. Then when you get down to your feet, you come back up. So that whole practice is so interesting to me and it was really helpful because it's all about like tuning into your body. And I think a lot of us get lost, and we get lost from being able to feel the sensations in our body because of, the world, like the outside world. It could be because of like trauma, and we're so used to dissociating and not wanting to be in our bodies. It could be from like, just all the pain of that, the pain of life, or it could also be from just, how like the phone and how the computers and how all the social media stuff affects people, and like people are constantly watching like other things, and that that's a form of dissociation in of its own. So I found that really interesting, and maybe I'll do that again. There's a lot of work I got to do. For me, I feel like it's more about taking time every day to do little practices and incorporating the practice into your life, because that's a huge thing. Because it's, you can go to retreats, you can go to Vipassana, you can go to all these different things and learn all these different ways of being and practice it in a retreat. But it's also about taking that back home with you and learning how to incorporate that into your daily life. And I think that's where the real magic happens, because that's like the real test, because you're going to get triggered in your daily life. And it's like, okay, how can you come back? Like, how can you come back to the body? How can you learn to feel that experience? And a modality that I've started learning more recently, and I've known about it for a while, but I just haven't read about it, or I haven't done enough work around it. It's nonviolent communication. Marshall Rosenberg, I believe his name is, who wrote the book for that. But there is a practitioner who has I would say maybe he's like a specialist in NVC, nonviolent communication, and he's on island, and he is going to start doing workshops again, or practice sessions. I went to a workshop a few weeks ago, and wow, it was so interesting. And it's like, you would think that these concepts are relatively simple, but they're so profound. One of the biggest things that we did in the workshop was that we partnered up with someone else and had them say things to us that is the biggest trigger, or at least something that's really huge, or call us a name or something like that, and something that brings back a lot of trauma. So we had to choose something that really gets us activated, and we had to sit with that feeling. And for a while, the feeling just doesn't automatically go away. And so we take turns with our partner. So I had to do something that triggered my partner, and they had to do something that triggered me. And we each had to sit with our own trigger and feel that. And yeah, a lot of the feeling is in the body. A lot of it comes from a lot of it's the trauma gets stuck in the body. So the reason why we get triggered so much from things that we've carried from our past and our childhood. We get triggered present day when something reminds us of that same thing, because it got stuck in our body. And as children, we didn't know how to process things. Like, we didn't have, most of us didn't have people helping us like process our emotions, or even allowing us to feel our emotions. Like, like, you're really lucky if you had parents that allowed you to feel your anger, or allowed you to feel your, negative emotions and sit with that, because a lot of us got shut down and they didn't want to deal with it. And we just got stuck with like all this feeling that we didn't know how to process. So it comes with you as an adult. And so I just think that practice is so interesting, because the theory is that, I guess it's considered, like, you could call it, like, the psychological term would be exposure therapy. And it's just exposing yourself to that sensation, like that trauma. And so you just sit with it however long it takes. And I asked, well, what if it doesn't go away? And he said, well, the teacher of the workshop, he said, well, that doesn't happen. He said, like, the longest he's ever seen someone take is 2 hours, like, who went through like a lot, like, who went through like so much like serious stuff, took 2 hours. So I don't know, I guess I'll have to find out for myself, right? Like, with anything, you just have to try it and find out for yourself. But the biggest thing to that practice of feeling your body, feeling your sensations, and letting yourself like naturally process it, the biggest thing with that is, he said, to not tell the story. And he said the story is what makes us get stuck, and it like makes us repeat the same things and doesn't let us heal from it, which is interesting, because that was kind of a similar thing that the Vipassana people said when they were telling us, like, they said, don't focus when you're feeling the sensations in your body, don't focus on why they're happening. Like, and which is the story, right? Like, we could be like, well, oh yeah, because, no one ever let me cry. Like, I couldn't cry when I was a kid. So I had a feeling stuck in here with like all this tension and bottled up over here, because nobody let me cry. Nobody let me feel sadness. Nobody let me feel anger. Nobody let me express myself. But then we go into these cycles with the story being, the exact memory. We recall the people, and then we get angry at the people. And then it's this whole thing. And it's not about that if you're trying to heal from it. There's one thing with like holding people accountable and boundaries, but this is a separate practice, because I do still think that boundaries and accountability is really important and necessary. But this practice is like, this healing practice is separate from that. It's really about like healing yourself. So I guess I'm just in my initial stages with learning about this modality. So I do want to update this channel and check in with more things that I learn about it and see what really happens. And during that workshop that I took, I definitely went into an emotional release. And there's a lot of things. And I had a dream that night that the moon was huge, and I was like with some friends looking at the moon, and this crazy like technology, like this, I don't know, this weird technology was like, how during Photoshop you kind of like, you can graffiti something and then like make it go away like an object? That was happening to the moon. So like, it's like somebody was using some major technology to like do the graffiti part of the moon to like make it disappear. And I knew it was happening. Like, I saw it happening. I was like, oh my gosh, like it was the craziest, like biggest feeling. And then like I saw a chunk of the moon just like crash down onto the earth. And it was just the biggest like sorrow. It was the biggest like sinking feeling that I've ever felt, like in this dream. So it was so interesting. It was really emotional. So yeah, I do think that there was some kind of release going on there. But yeah, I think I'm gonna give it a go. And just whenever you get, and like like it's easy to get triggered multiple times a day. Like, someone cuts you off, or something happens, someone says the wrong thing to you, someone says something that, triggers you from your past or whatever. And then instead of going outward, you go inward. So yeah, it's definitely worth giving it a shot. And, cause yeah, sometimes, like the whole thing is that other people are not responsible for your emotions, for your feelings. Like, you're responsible for your own feelings. And whatever they do, yeah, that might not have been the right thing. That might have been wrong what they did. But at the same time, people can do wrong things and they can say bad things to you and they can do things, but the trigger is your feeling. Like when you get triggered by it, when you get upset by it, that's your feeling. And it could, it's possible that if you heal from it, I guess the whole thing is that it's possible if you heal from these things that you don't get affected by it anymore or affected by it as much anymore. So I'm interested in going into this process. Thanks so much for sitting and watching this. And if you're curious to check up on my journey, I do want to try to post on this channel more often. So please stay tuned. I hope everyone has an amazing 2025, and please subscribe if you want to see more videos. Hit the notification bell if you want to get notified of more videos. I do want to post on this channel more often. Please subscribe to my music channel as well, because I'm doing way more on that channel than I've been doing on this channel. But I hope that I can find a balance with this channel and that channel. So I hope you have an amazing beginning of your 2025. I think it's going to be a good year. I hope it's going to be a good year. So we'll see. I have a good feeling about it, but I mean, we'll just have to see. I can't be attached to any outcome or anything. Life is life, and it'll bring you what it brings. So take care, and I'll see you next time.
Fears and faults, and every time I felt not enough, had a vision I could turn it into something. Climbed out of the cobwebs in the